Okay, I'm Amber. I'm a program and operations leader for Multifamily Utility Company. I work directly with the CEO, and I basically help him move any of his new investments or project initiatives forward. But prior to working with Multifamily Utility Company, I had my own utility billing company, but I sold that in 2019. And I'm going to break down what we do in layman's terms, and I'm going to try to go fast. If you live in a home, you get a bill for how much water you use, how much gas, electric you use. But in the multifamily housing industry, and when I say multifamily, I mean apartment complexes, mobile home parks, condo associations, and this is nationwide. The owner or management company of that whole complex gets a water bill. And then we have to divvy that bill up amongst all the residents that live there, okay? So we are a necessity to this industry because no multifamily owner wants to eat utility expense for 200, 300 apartment units, right? And so there's a few ways we do that. We can do that where the owner will purchase their own sub-meters and they'll go in and install them on their own expense. Or we could do ratio utility billing, which is just a formula. And we can bill based on how many people live in the unit or maybe the square footage, right? So in a nutshell, that's what we do, which means we're a service company, right? And there's really three big ways, that we get our business. You've got inbound lead, outbound lead, but I want to talk about event lead because we're a service company, we're not pushing a product, right? So our business and how we get most of our prospects is from events. It's about building the relationship. For us, our sales cycle is very long. So I worked a deal for 2 years, but it ended up being a deal that basically quadrupled the size of my company. It was that large because when you start working these big management companies that are managing 200,000 and 300,000 apartment units, it's going to take a year or 2 years to close that deal. So our sales cycle is pretty long, and events is where it's at for us. Okay, because we have to build a relationship. So I was telling people last night, like last night's event, right? Anytime, you've got these conferences going on, but anytime you get to an event and there's alcohol flowing, right? And everybody begins to open up, right? And that's really in those settings where you're building that relationship, right? And that's really what it's about for us in our industry. So I really want to talk about proactive. So we were definitely in that reactive stance and we needed to be more proactive. And because we're in a niche industry, one of the reasons we had a problem with this is we're a niche industry. I didn't even know the industry existed when I got into the building, right? So we can't just go online and find this all-in one-stop tool that helps us run our operations, that helps us give us visibility to everything we need. Which meant, and we've got about 6 departments operationally, which meant our teams are using different tools. Everyone's using a different tool to get their job done, right? Because the only other option is to do custom development, which we know can cost millions and millions of dollars. So our biggest problem that kept us in reactiveness was the lack of visibility to data-driven insight so we could scale. So that we could scale for what sales was bringing in, so that we could be proactive. Because when you're an executive or on a leadership team, you have to have access to your data. You have to see the metrics that your team is producing. And we needed an all-in-one tool where we could still allow our teams to use the tools that they needed to run their teams, but bring that data into one place, right? And that's when we went to market for Insightly. So Insightly CRM, to be honest, is more than just a CRM for us, okay? We use it for a lot of things, but integration. So you have all these tools. Integration is critical because if I'm on the leadership team or I'm an executive, I want to bring all of that data into one place. I want to see it in dashboards. I want to see it in analytical reporting. So because we have Insightly, we now have all of our team's productivity, and our sales team uses it anyways, all of it coming into one place. So now I can see data-driven insight that helps me move from being reactive into proactive, right? They have this awesome tool called App Connect. And guess what? You don't have to be a developer, right? Anytime you get tools for your company that is not custom in-house tool, If you need it to do something that it can't do, usually you have to do, custom development. Well, with App Connect, we didn't have to do that. So we're also able to customize and automate things with the App Connect tool. Additionally, because sales and ops has now got visibility into one tool versus it being kind of sporadic, we now have visibility. So now we've got alignment across all of our teams, right? Let's talk about ROI. I want you to pay attention to the light blue bars. So 2022, we had some, with the economic downturn, we kind of had some lost business, but we still were able to grow in 2022. But by the end of August 2023, you got to pay attention to that net growth units one. We think units, so apartment units. But by the end of August, we had already grown 55% more than where we were last year. And so we're tracking to probably have 85% more growth this year than we did last year. And this is our tech stack. Insightly, you'll see is in a lot of these columns. Smart Sheets is a big one that our teams use just to track production, because what we do is we send a bill out every single month. I will tell you the way we go after the tools we're going to use now is even different. As you grow, we have transitioned from just one person from a department maybe going and saying, I need this tool, and then you just go buy the tool, right? Well, now we're all coming together. We're coming out of that silo-ness, right? We're all coming together, and we're all looking at the tools and the things that are out there for us and really analyzing it. I think Lindsay was talking about this. Really analyzing it and making sure it's going to be a viable product for our teams, that there is going to be ROI attached to that. So, but yeah, that's it.
Yo, give it up for Amber. One little observation. I mean, you mentioned about, before we bring up Laura, like one of the things I want everybody to take a look at, like this is, we talked about 7.1 humans, like I really want to figure out that 0.1 person. Like why, like where is that one person? I think we said CMO, maybe I think the CFO is that 0.1. Like,
yes.
Like let's we all agree on it because there's no CFO in the room, good. So, you see products that go across the OS. Anyone who is in a go-to-market leadership role right now who's trying to figure out how do I justify the cost of a particular product to my CEO, CFO, I think that's the kind of, that's the kind of thing that you need to use. So we have seen this go in the board decks where you can go and work with your CEO, your CFO, your head saying, hey look, this is my go-to-market OS, like it's there, the deck is with you, you can use it as you want. And then apply which platform, or better yet, ask your vendor that is actually coming to you and saying, where does it help? Because you have to go and make sure that it is going to be beneficial for it. So real quick, maybe in 30 seconds, did you have to internally sell it to different functions?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to be so strategic, okay, because everyone speaks a different language. I almost became like an internal salesperson.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd spend 2 weeks just, what's my deliverable? We were actually talking about this a while ago. I even took the training dealing with difficult people, right? Because I'm like, okay, I got all these different personalities, and because you have to message it.
So everybody had to do like a disc profile.
I had to meet one-on-one.
Yeah.
This person cares about this. This person cares about this, but I learned a lot in that process, and I still have to do that because I'm always involved with a new thing. Nobody likes change, especially on the ground floor. And so you just have to figure out what is it that person wants to hear. You got to speak their language, right? And then just show them the benefits of that. But yeah,
love it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Amber. Give it up again.